I'm Josh with Waupaca Community Media, joined once again with the Waupaca Area Public Library, Sue and Peg. And how are you doing today?
Good morning.
Hello.
We're doing great. Thanks for having us today.
And I'm sure some of the enthusiasm over there, you guys have been back open for a little bit. You've got people coming in, checking out books, and getting a little bit of normalcy back. And how's that been going?
Oh, really well. People are excited about getting back into the library and being able to browse books. Everybody's been very good about following the rules.
And the kids are most excited. They come downstairs just like they're coming into a carnival or something. It's pretty great.
Good to hear. And not everything's going to be back in person. That's going to take some time. And with that, there are some virtual things going on. And the first things have been an annual occurrence in Waupaca, and that's the youth art show, celebrating art from our school students. And I know years past that was another venue. It's been in the exhibit room the past couple of years, and this year it's gone virtual. Tell us about that.
I would say this year knows how to turn everything virtual and hit a home run every time she does it. And this 2021 art show is amazing online. I think that art itself is something people do in a very private setting. They don't get to be socially gathered. So art has been one that we've been able to celebrate for a long time during the pandemic. And lots of people are using art as a way of coping through the social distancing and the isolation of being at home. So I'm really excited that the kids' art is being displayed virtually, but also that they didn't stop making it. That's the other thing, is that art classes at school, they get messy and they're doing all sorts of things. Sometimes it's working with clay and paint and they're running all over, but I imagine the art room has got a different look to it. But the kids' art did not falter at all. So check it out. It's a link to our website, and there was a virtual awards ceremony that you can watch as well. And you can click on the elementary school art. There's 3 different pages at the bottom. So scroll to the bottom and you can see that you can click on either the elementary, the middle, or the high school art. Wonderful artwork again. Liz has done a marvelous job putting it all together virtually.
Very cool.
I think one thing you have to note is that it takes a little while to load, so just have a little bit of patience, but it is gorgeous. It's well worth the little bit of weight you have to put into it.
Yeah, she used really high resolution pictures so that it really did the art good service.
And year after year, it's amazing the quality of the art, so it's definitely worth checking out.
Yes.
Another virtual program you've got going on. I know this is kind of another annual thing you do each late winter, early spring. Dr. Jack Rhodes usually does a series, and the pandemic's not slowing him down, and that's virtual. And tell us about the one coming up on April 1st.
So on April 1st, he's really visiting that classic period of film where we're talking about nightmares and monsters and sci-fi films. So some of those genres that may be overlooked sometimes when you think about classic films, the creature features perhaps. And so he's going to be talking about those virtually. He'll give you a list of films that you may want to really look for and check out from the library later. But it's great to see Jack back with all of his information about classic film and what to look for. So we've had really good audience for this, and the part of it that's great is that you can watch it later. So if you can't make it at 1:30 on the first Thursday of the month, then you can watch it later. So I think we reach a broader audience because it's not limited by the time.
Very cool. You've got some book clubs coming up, and those are virtual as well. And the first one we'll talk about, you got a series for the adults, and the book is American Dirt. What's a really brief synopsis? What can someone expect from that book?
So I haven't read the book, so I'm going to be just very general. It's on my list, but I haven't read it yet. But that group actually meets the 3rd Saturday of the month, and it's a Zoom meeting. And what we found is that people have kind of gotten over the idea that maybe it's not so much talking about books on Zoom. The audience that we have is really enthusiastic about the books. There's good discussion, and American Dirt is really talks about the racial tensions within our country. So that's going to be a very brief synopsis.
Okay.
So pick it up. Lots of copies available.
And then Sue, you've got The Tall and Small, which is combining youth with adults, and that is The War That Saved My Life. Can you tell us that really brief synopsis of what the kids can expect from that book?
Yes, we have had so much fun. Grandparents who are snowbirding it in southern climates are connecting with their northern grandchildren virtually in this book club. And this is our third meeting of the Tall and Small Book Club. There's still room and there's still books available. So if you're interested in joining, you can get it in. This was an amazing book from a couple years ago, historical fiction about a young girl and boy in London right before the start of World War II. The little girl has a club foot, and her mother is really keeping her at home and keeping her from going to school, and she just wants to be like the other kids. And so she escapes on the first train she can with her brother out to the country when they evacuated all the kids out of London before the expected bombing. They sent them out to the country. And she and her brother are staying with a woman named Susan who lives in the country, who really has no interest in taking care of kids. But the dynamic changes over the course of the war. Lots of hardships, but lots of hope and lots of excitement. It's just a wonderful, wonderful story for kids and adults, and an opportunity for the generations to talk about, what they remember hearing about the war, or what they remember even their own grandparents talking about the war. So our meeting's going to be on Saturday, March 27th. So it's a little over a week, but it is a children's book and it's a quick read. I'm listening to it in the car, and I've got like a 5-minute drive to work, and there are times I want to just keep driving around the block till I get to the chapter break so I don't miss anything.
Sue, what's that dynamic like at the book club where you have the people who are older and then the younger kids, and what does that discussion look like?
Well, I think the kids seem to be a little more comfortable because they know someone else in the club, meaning their aunt or their grandmother or their elderly, not elderly, but they're not all elderly. But I mean, a lot of them are grandparents, to tell you the truth. And it does give them a little ease in being able to talk about the book because they already know somebody that's in the club. But what's really great is that those grandparents get an opportunity to hear what their kids are thinking about what they're reading, what their grandkids are thinking. And so it is a lot of fun. I just sit back and let them talk because and if it slows down, I throw in a question, but I don't usually have to because everybody's just talking what they think of the book. It's great.
And then the last thing we want to talk about, another virtual program. We've got the news, the Main Street Reconstruction Project underway March 29th. And the library is hosting a kind of a community conversation program discussing that, and that's taking place on the 18th. And what do people need to know about that?
So it is, you do need to register because it's a virtual program and it's hosted on Zoom. And we have Erin Jensen joining us for that conversation. And we're going to talk about what does Main Street look like? What does that construction look like? What will it look like when it's finished? Some of the questions that you may have could be answered during that program. And this is a program that takes place every third Thursday. And it's a way for people to get together and actually talk, because we miss that. You don't sit down with a cup of coffee with your neighbor anymore. So being able to say hello to people maybe you've seen in the library before and have that little bit of time just to talk about what's going on with you and what's going on in our community it's been really well received.
I'm going to go out and take some pictures of Main Street the way it looks now.
That's not a bad idea.
I think we should, and we can always share them with Tracy too at the Historical Society, because she's going to want us. Every renovation downtown is a historical timeline, right? I mean, there's a bump on the timeline, so I think we need to take pictures. So
I should get the drone out and do a flyover.
Oh yeah,
that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
No, that's
then and now.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, Pegs, too, appreciate the time to get the community up to date with what's going on at the library, and thanks again.
Come in and see us.
See you, Josh.
See ya.